Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the LCG Production Podcast. Thanks to Javari on behalf of Boost Collective for coming on.
Hey, what's up, man? Jabari here, and thank you for having me here.
No problem, man. So we always just start off by asking, what's your journey been like through music? How have you ended up where you are now?
Well, I don't want to speak on this for 1,000 years because I want to get into the gems, but I would say it all started off when I was younger, and I remember my dad would listen to a bunch of rappers, 50 Cent, and he introduced me to Kanye. And as soon as I found Kanye, that's when everything, my love for rap and hip hop started. And since then, I tried making a bunch of parody raps, didn't go anywhere. Tried producing, didn't go anywhere. Took a break, but now I'm back here.
That's crazy. That's like so similar to me. I listened to College Dropout like I don't know, like 8 times in a week or something, and that just got me into it straight away. So getting right into it, what do you think rappers should be doing for marketing in 2021?
Well, the first thing they should do is there's a difference between marketing. Okay, promotions, advertising, and branding are 3 main components of marketing. And I find that artists, especially rappers, first they go into promotions, but let's change the system a little bit here, right? We want to get results. So in order, the very first thing that's got to get done is branding. The first thing an artist needs to do is have a solid brand. That requires you putting out content, and we're going to talk on that a little bit more. But instead of putting your music out there, first create like a nice established little base for when they do come here, what they're going to see. You don't want to go viral. People come, they only see like 2 songs or 2 Instagram posts, because then they can't like binge your stuff. They can't fall in love with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree 100%. If you don't have the infrastructure to sort of, like, if you get 1 million streams tomorrow, what are you going to do with it? And you need that sort of baseline for people to actually like become a fan of you. So going to content, what sort of content should rappers be putting out to grow the brand?
Podcast clips. All jokes aside, podcast clips is a good thing, because you're an artist, you already have all the audio equipment anyway. You have your interface, mic, monitors. Record some daily podcast stuff at what top celebrities post. Run with it. A lot of that stuff, content, I would say, is because they have established fan base and they can get away with it. So what you need to do is you need to dive deep into the subculture that you're trying to really capture. Let's say if you're a boom bap artist, then there's going to be a lot of textures and styles, right? A lot of tastes that go around what it means to be an artist of this style, such as if you're from New York, then of course, all the New York aesthetics, the greenness of, living in a city, there's like some subways, there's rats, there's the people, the local bodegas and convenience stores, all the lifestyle things that are related. I'd say your content should just be your view towards that, your perspective towards that. And then once you have all that, then once you start making music and people come towards you, they're going to see your brand, at least initially, fits in the scope of stuff they already are interested in, relate to.
Mm-hmm. And what sort of platforms should they be putting stuff out on? Because obviously Instagram is sort of like the absolute like queen of social media right now, and it has been for a few years. Should rappers like mainly be focusing on that? What's your sort of view on that?
If you ask me, I think Instagram is great for branding, but it's not the best for organic exposure. The best for organic exposure right now is TikTok. Though that being said, Instagram Reels, I found a lot of success. Basically, the more algorithm, the better. People want to avoid the algorithm. They think it's like some sort of monster that's there to like tear their career into shreds. In reality, the algorithm is just a set of code on a computer. The more algorithm that works, then of course, the more competitive it is. But when you do hit it, you'll hit it big. So I'd say go towards someplace like Instagram and TikTok for putting out content.
Yeah. Every single rapper I speak to fucking hates the Instagram algorithm. So what sort of things, in your opinion, help you, I don't want to say get along with it, but like, yeah, put you in its favor to be shown to more people?
All right, perfect. The very first thing is normally when you're telling a story, you start with an introduction, then it gets better, more action. And then finally the climax, then it settles. For the algorithm, think about it opposite, because you want the climax at the beginning. People have short attention spans. If you're going to make a video, whether it's like on Triller, Like you've seen artists, they go on Trailer, they make like a small promo video of them dancing with their friends and stuff. Have all the interesting and funny clips because you want to arouse them. It's not just about like them watching it, it's them feeling a certain way to take further action. You want them to be like interested, oh, what's going on here? And then once you kind of get them in the beginning, then it's easier to keep them for the duration of the post. So make it interesting at the beginning. And then once they can see like a good like 50, 60+% of the post, then Instagram is going to look at the watch time. So basically, as Instagram, put yourself in Mark Zuckerberg's shoes because he owns Instagram. If you're Mark Zuckerberg, you want people to engage with content that keeps them in the app because then more advertising. So therefore, make people watch for the full duration or as much as they can. And then the algorithm is going to start showing that to more and more people. That's why it's easy to get wrapped up on the Instagram Explore page because everything there is winning content. Every one post there has had to be compared to like 1,000 other posts. And that was the one that got the highest watch time and kept people engaged. And then that naturally got pushed forward.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing with that is people are afraid that if they just sort of go down that path of like trying to suck as much sort of watch time in as possible to get shown to more people, they're not going to stay true to themselves. And I speak to a lot of people and they're very scared of coming across as someone who's just like chasing clout, basically. What would you say to those people?
You are chasing clout. You are chasing clout. It's if you don't promote yourself, who's going to promote you, right? Is it the record label? Is it Mr. Warner Music? Probably not, all right? Is it your mom? Okay, she's too busy doing mom stuff to worry about you and your music. This is a mentality that needs to be shifted, and it's hard, really hard, because you started from a place not of algorithms and optimizing marketing. You started from a place of making good music, and I find you got to find a way to split that in half. Like like a bean, you can split that in half. One side of the bean is going to be your marketing side, business side. The other side is going to be your creative artist side. If you can't make the distinction, then that should be kind of your main focus because you got to do a little bit of both. It's not just a 100% this or that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely difficult. Like you get into music, you don't want the marketing to be a part of it. Then you get into it, you realize it's incredibly important. But like what you're saying is what helps is just looking at it completely different from the creative process.
Yeah, I would say even when it comes to stuff like planning it out, because as an artist, you want it to be interesting and to your brand. However, interesting to you isn't always interesting to the person who watches the content that you put out. And Garyvee always says, put out quality, content. The reason for that is because it's only through running all these tests of putting out stuff can you really see what's going to work for the algorithm and what's going to work for you. Right? It's like, unless you know what you're doing, which nobody really does at the beginning, you're going to have to find out through trial and sadly, error.
How often do you
think?
What do you have to
say about that? What do you have to say about that? I want to hear your thoughts.
My opinion on so I definitely agree with you. I would say 100% quantity over quality. Because you're right, it lets you figure out what actual quality is because it's a subjective thing. Like what you define as good content, someone else might not. So like let your followers determine what is actually good. In terms of like how much you're putting out though, how often would you recommend that people post on social media?
All right, sweet, good question. So every social media has the different threshold, and the threshold depends on how the users interact with the app. Because on TikTok, you can post so much because it's so fast paced and it's so like ADHD, like squirrel. It's like, it's like so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
But Facebook, since, think about the mentality, it's like the psychology. People go onto it to generally see what's up with their friends and family. And so longer form stuff works well on Facebook. And so I'd say if you're going to go on, like, you're going to have a song, like a single, you're going to make a cover for like a song. Let's say Pop Smoke, you found some of Pop Smoke's old work, unreleased. You're able to extract out the sample for the beats and instrumental, and you want to make like a remix. Hell yeah, let's do it. All right. Pop Smoke remix. If you're going to do that, I would say if you're going to go on like the Instagram route or TikTok, you want to only cut a small clip of that. And then you want to maybe post like segments of that song and test which one works best. But if it's on Facebook, just have like the full, remix cover better. So ideally you want to do the maximum. TikTok, 3 to 5 times a day. You can get away with 8 or 9 too. Instagram, I'd say 1 to 3 times a day if you're like making diligent content, because your Instagram story posts are also going to be there. So feed and story post. And then if you're doing it on something such as, see, now I get why you say when move so fast, because you're trying to get as much value.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if you're going to be, yeah.
No, keep going. That was really good.
Oh, no, last one I was just going to say, for YouTube, you want to go maybe like once every 4 days. Unless you're doing beats, then you can do daily. But if you're going to do like something that you want people to like stick around and remember, then, like 2-3 times a week.
Yeah. Are you a fan of like musicians sort of planning out their content, or do you think it's best to just do it on a daily basis?
I love when they plan it. It makes me so happy. The reason's because it just gives you I feel like when I plan my stuff out, I actually want to do it. That being said, don't plan out to like everything, because if you over plan, it's hard to get stuff done, because then it's like you walk into it the mentality that you have like a mountain to overcome. It's like, oh, and this is that's where anxiety and uncertainty comes. You're like, this is gonna work, waste my time. I'd say only plan for like the next 3-4 days, and then really do sprints like 90 minutes cranking out content, and then take a break, 90 minutes crank out content. If you can do it all in one day, batch it together, that'll be even better, because then you can like test everything based on like you can just look at things run as you like plan and batch it.
Yeah. We've spoken about so much good stuff already. Like that's crazy. What's your sort of opinion on then YouTube? Like, YouTube's been here for so long, but you can still like grow organically through it. So what sort of things are you seeing that's working well for musicians on there?
What's working well is, YouTube goes on, and creates a playlist for you. It's like you type in, I don't know, NBA Youngboy music or whatever, and then it's going to be like mix YouTube, and it's like a playlist made by YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be surprised how many people listen to those. So many people listen to that. And that's kind of like the YouTube's version of Discover Weekly for Spotify. So if you can get your song into the like playlists such as those, it'll be so nice. Or if like people type in playlists on YouTube too, right? Especially if they're like on their computer or whatever. So literally finding like the YouTuber who made the playlist, reaching out to them is a great way to promote it on YouTube. I don't know how much YouTube pays in royalties. I know it's lower than Apple Music and Spotify. However, YouTube also has like the most amount of users, so it balances out, right? Definitely, yeah. YouTube should be part of your core strategy. After SoundCloud, Apple Music, and Spotify, YouTube's like number 4, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. I think it would be really useful just to like get as much knowledge as possible from you. If you were releasing a song and you were like trying to plan it out, firstly, like how long would you plan it out for, and like what would your whole plan be for releasing a single?
All right, sick. If I'm releasing a single, I'll make it a 1-month campaign. Why 1 month? Because I need 2 weeks beforehand. Because the first 2 weeks is going to be like when I set it to DistroKid. This is assuming the song is like completely made. 2 weeks is where I'm going to like set it for sibling, doing all the pre-release stuff. And then there's going to be release day, which is generally after 2 weeks. Then I have 2 weeks after, which the song has the most hype. So what I'll do is for the first 2 weeks is I'm going to take snippets of the song, and I'm also going to like remix it to other trending songs. I'll go on TikTok, find trending sounds, and I'll literally extract the acapella or find the acapella from some other guy that did the work for me. And then I'll mix like my version of my song with their version, a whole bunch of remixes, try to get some of my friends, influencers to make those remixes pop. Because what happens is if I can get some buzz and people can play it, then when the original song comes out, people be like, oh, that's where I heard that from. And the cool thing is it doesn't have to be so many people. If you can only get 1,000 people to hear the original remix, and then after you hear the original, then those 1,000 people are going to have a whole different like reaction compared to if it was just kind of, oh, this is a guy self-promoting. The idea is not to interrupt the person's day when you're promoting your music. It's to kind of like subtly get it in their face, because the people that really do care are the people you're targeting, and they're the ones that are definitely going to check in. That's a different mentality from what a lot of artists do. They want to interrupt. Oh, out now, check out my song. It's so amazing. Yo, check it right now, bro. We don't care. Put it in a frame it like something we care about, and that'll be sick, you know?
Uh-huh.
So I just hope that wasn't too much.
No. That's honestly perfect. So you're going a month before, you're remixing, you're putting it on TikTok. How much like just asking people to pre-save the song should you be doing versus how much content should you be putting out in that period, which is still like not just asking for shit? Because I feel like if you just ask for shit the whole time, that's going to lead to bad content.
That's so funny.
What?
I'd say don't even ask for anything, you know, because ideally every transaction has like a benefit on both sides. It's like a win-win situation if it's like a good transaction. So if you ask for stuff, you already make it a transactional relationship. However, if you frame it like you're giving them something, then already you're getting your benefit that you know about, and like the person's not dumb. They know you want something. They know you have an incentive for giving them stuff. However, because the thing you're giving them is valuable, they don't mind. Example, let's say there's like a clothing brand, right? And there's a clothing brand that matches your style of music. Like, let's say if you like remember Playboy Cardi and, you know, Young Thug, they're all about slime, slat.
Yeah.
Let's say there's a local clothing brand in your city that has some like, you know, has a little bit of exposure. Be like, yo, start with the value. I just bought your shirt. I'm a happy customer. It's sick, you know. I'm planning on doing some promotion for my song. I'm more than happy. Hey, don't say, can I do this? Because then you're already on the ask and they're going to be wary. Just be like, I am more than happy to, you know, promote your brand because I like it that much. It shows the influencer, which is the brand for the clothing, that you care enough to help them first. Then naturally, as you help them out, and then maybe on your Instagram post, you shut them out one time during this 2 weeks. Then when it times come for a release day, be like, man, you know, people are loving it. And, you know, I'm more than happy to be an affiliate. See, now that's a different conversation, because now you already helped them. You gave them money in their pockets. You've shown your value. Then when you're talking to them, then you're like, all right, you know, maybe you can help promote my music. I'll promote your clothes. Boom. Instant relationship that didn't take much time. You didn't have to do 1,000 DMs. Sometimes DMs are important, but in this case, you just strike the good relationship. So I do that. I go to top influencers in my space and build connections like that. It's a lot easier than you think if you have like a good value that you're offering first. It's hard to find good value, but since you make music all the time, then based on the textures and context of your music, you already kind of have an intuitive understanding of where you fit in the music space.
Yeah. So do you feel like then a song a month is sort of like a good place to be at in terms of how much you're releasing, or would you go for that? Song a month?
I'd say 2 songs a month. Because
2 songs a month.
Yeah, one song is control, one is challenge. Control and challenge, control and challenge. By that I mean is once you get the feedback from which songs do well, then you want to make songs that are fitting in that theme. However, you also want to test stuff out in your music. So what you do is you start off by you have one song in that month that's going to be based on previous data and based on results and feedback of what people said works. The next one is going to be something that's more abstract, more alternative, something that's away from your brand to experiment. And so every month have one control, one challenge, because over time you're going to have more control, and like the song is going to be something that's people are going to like, it's proven to work based on previous history. But since you're always putting out new stuff, you'll be attracting different types of fans. Sometimes fans only like one of your songs, but they still support your brand. So it's fine to have those fans. But you're also like seeing maybe there's other avenues you can take it. Therefore you can stay managed, have control and have data of your campaigns, but also have full creative freedom to do whatever you want. 2 songs a month, no questions asked, control and challenge.
That sounds like a really, really, I'll definitely be clipping that, man. Like, I think that ticks the boxes, because people, like I've always said, try and release as much as possible, like even aim for once a week. But if it feels like you're doing that, then sometimes I guess you feel like you're just trying to release the same shit over and over. But what you're saying, go 2 songs a month, then you get to still make stuff which you know people like. So you're using like data that you already know, but you're also like being able to push yourself creatively. So I really like that.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, because of algorithms, this like the computers and like streaming platforms are already going to do the work of finding people to listen to your music. Just as you can tell based on the data, you can also allocate your time and energy in promotion. If you notice a song, you put like two releases this month, next month 2 more releases. That's 4 releases in a 2-month span. Out of those 4 releases, one of it is really picking up. Then what you can do is you can take some of your promo budget for advertising playlists and kind of dump a majority of that into that song that's already proven to do well. It's just an overall great strategy of putting product, because your song is a product, putting products out there that are made to build fans, aka customers.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So are you a big fan of paying for playlisting, things like that?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm biased because I myself am a curator, and I also connect people to playlists. So I'm a fan, and we can talk about this, but just know that I'm biased, towards it because I'm in it.
Yeah. But I don't want to go over it too much, but I feel like the danger is people are scared of basically going on playlists and then like bringing people in, but not turning the listeners into fans. So say rappers listening, they're already on playlists. They've made the right move. How do you then ensure that those people are like converted into fans rather than just like one-off streams? Because I feel like that's quite a difficult task.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I wish we lived in a world where we can control what the person does after they hear the song, but sadly we can't. But I have good news and bad news. The bad news is Spotify doesn't count a listen as a stream until they listen to at least 30 seconds. You can find that info on the website. Meaning, if you have a stream, the person listened to at least 30 seconds of your track. So they're already a qualified fan. And also, number 2, what happens is a couple days ago, I did street interviews. I walked around the city. I literally asked random people what they do when they hear new music. How do they discover new music? And from the data I find is people, they generally check their Discover Weekly or algorithm or playlist that curators find. And then from the songs that they like, if they like it, they said they check out the other songs. So the question isn't the playlist, what's wrong with them? The question is, am I using the playlist in the correct way? It's a tool at the end of the day. It's a means to an end. It's not the end itself. I hope that kind of clarifies a few things. So I'd say don't put money into playlists unless you A, have like a good nest egg of songs and branding, and B, know how to promote your music by yourself for free organically. Because for organic playlists just helps speed up and accelerate the process of you gaining fans. But if your principles and foundations are already shaky, then it's like a house of cards. Any gust of wind can blow it apart, and you see a huge spike in fans within like a week, like a month for that campaign. Then after, you'll see nothing because nobody really sticks around since the foundations aren't fully paved and clear.
Yeah, I always think of it like as sort of a funnel. So you can bring as much stuff to the top of the funnel as you want, but like if your funnel isn't good, there's no one that's going to go to the bottom. So I feel like that's the same thing with advertising. You can have the best ad campaign in the world and bring as many like listeners, whatever, but if you don't have good branding and your music isn't good, there's no one who's going to go right to the bottom and go to your shows, buy your merch and that sort of thing. Going back to Discover Weekly, what would you say were like your tips for getting on that?
So generally, Spotify, from, I forget where I read this, we can check the facts after, but just know this is like from my memory, and I don't have a wonderful memory, but I believe it's either like 10 or 20,000 streams is generally the threshold when you get accepted to Discover Weekly. But the main thing about Discover Weekly is, since it's algorithmic, it really is about who the listener is. So if you want to get into Discover Weekly, you need to make sure that your song is indexed. And when an algorithm or computer indexes your data, what it does is it takes your data and compares it to other similar data to like put them into boxes, right? So let's say you make country music, you're not going to be indexed with the rap music box. So if you get your song into playlists, then the listeners who listen to the playlist should also be people that like rap music. It should also be rap music. And within rap, there's drill, grime, trap, cloud rap, acid rap. There's so much. So make sure that you also have the right subgenre because through all these contexts, as your song gets promoted, and then finally, once it starts to reach like the, 15, 20, 30,000 stream threshold over time, and it's properly indexed, meaning you made strategies to get it to the right core fans, then you increase the chances of getting into Discover Weekly. Once you're in the Discover Weekly that people generally listen to, then you're going to find more algorithmic, push and higher fan base that way. So make sure it's A, targeted so that it can be indexed by the algorithm. B, you also need a volume for the data in this algorithm to run. So you need high amount of streams and qualified streams. Easier said than done. Of course, playlist is kind of like a shortcut towards this. But that being said, it's not like the only thing. As long as you know what you're doing and you do it right, then you'll be fine and you'll increase the chances. At the end of the day, all chances. But if you are smart with every step of the way, you should get there without huge issues.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking valuable information. We're actually coming up nearly to 40 minutes. We're still good, actually. I want to cover
we got time.
Oh, that's great. So I do want to cover over how you think rappers could earn more money. I feel like everyone thinks like they're going to hit a certain stream mark and like money's just going to come flowing in. But the reality is, it is, if you don't know what you're doing, it's really difficult to make money in music. So how would you say to rappers to go about earning more money?
I'd say for rappers to go about it is you need more income streams. Ideally, you want the income streams to be correlated to music. Things such as, if you're a rapper, I'm guessing as a kid, you probably played an instrument or you probably understand a little about music. You can even go on like, Craigslist, Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace, or in your case, the UK version of Craigslist. What do you guys have it? What's the name?
I have no fucking clue. Let me check this out.
You guys don't have like a thing?
Yeah, I'll just search up. Keep going though.
Right. So like Facebook Marketplace, whatever, finding like guitars, ukuleles, if you know how to play it, you can also fix it up, design it, clean it up, then resell it. You can resell sneakers because as artists, we're also involved in the culture of fashion and culture. So you can resell sneakers. If you're a rapper, then you're among people that have fly stuff, buy low, sell high. You can invest in the stock market. Really, you just need income streams. The more correlated to music and fashion and culture, better. But it doesn't have to be, because if you want to do this full time, as long as you're able to cover your base expenses, everything else, you can think about it in a long-term strategy. So do things that give you immediate payout initially. Something such as a clothing line sounds good at first. However, you're going to realize really fast that you need also customers, aka fans, to buy it, right? You also it needs to look sick. So I'd say start off by selling other people's stuff through being an affiliate or brand ambassador, because they already have the established brand. They take care of the, finances and whatever. Not to mention, if you're going to do something that's going to give you a high, think about it like this. You got to turn $1 into $2 at the beginning, because in the future, we can think more about like long-term. So do stuff that will give you that. Maybe even, doing stuff like giving off verses, doing, even if you're pretty good, you can help and mentor up and coming artists. You can sell off your time being like, for like, for $5. Okay, that's kind of low, but like for like $15 an hour.
Yeah, $5 an hour. Jesus.
$5. I don't know. I had Fiverr in my head, right?
Yeah.
For $15 an hour, I'll come to your house and I'll teach you everything I know. Help out the little guy. Or you can be like, guess what? You're a new artist. I have in my house, literally my KRK Rockify speakers, my Sennheiser microphone. I have the DAW that's fully paid for, or, even cracked. Look, I'm not going to judge you, but it happens, right? Let's not pretend it doesn't.
I did it at first.
Literally, everybody did at first. I had my Damien's. Damien gave me his FL, and then I got my Ableton from Ronin. But before that, I was cracking. I have no shame about it. You got to do what you got to do, So anyway, if you can rent out your little mini studio to other artists, hey, $30 an hour, I'll do it. You can even upsell them. I'll help mix master. You're an artist, you probably don't know that stuff. Guess what? Time to learn it, because if you want to make money, you have to also be a valuable, somebody worth making money. You need to have the value in order to be able to sell, because at the beginning, it's going to be sales, sales, sales. Over time, then your artist brand will help, kind of like, law of attraction. Soon as you kind of get to a certain stage, you're going to attract in deals and stuff, and it's going to come in nicely. But until then, you got to put in the hustle where it's going to, give you immediate payment instead of long-term.
Yeah. I feel like the hardest part is just making that sort of enough money, as you said, to cover your needs. where you don't need to be working another job, because as soon as you get to there, you open up like double the amount of time in your day. So you can just basically go so much faster and start earning money. But the hard part is getting to that, like covering your basis. And yeah, it doesn't have to be through music. Like you just need to find ways to make money. And then once you get there, like you can then focus a lot more on music because you're going to have so much more time.
1000%. I agree.
Yeah. By the way, it's Gumtree. I can't believe you guys don't have Gumtree, but same thing. Anyway.
Gumtree's kind of sick. If I go to the UK, I'm definitely going to go and find like the little British hat, extra, read all about it. Like the kid with the newspaper in like 1800s.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Gumtree.
That doesn't happen
anymore. Authentic. That's so funny. It's like that'd be funny for like a marketing campaign, getting lost in London, and it's like the guy's dressed up in a freaking like a trilby hat, and he's like wearing a suit, because like people from London are from the UK. Where are you from? Like what city?
I'm from Edinburgh in Scotland.
Oh, you're Scottish. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that in the UK they're known for being gentlemen. Is that the same in Scotland as in Great Britain, like UK?
No.
No.
Yeah. Look, I kind of want to get more to music, but what sort of sources have you learned like how to brand? So for artists listening, like they just finished listening to this podcast, like where should they go on YouTube next to like learn how to brand? Garyvee, you're saying he's probably taught you quite a lot.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of it is just kind of street smart versus book smart. You can read all you want, you'll get like the fundamental knowledge, but the thing is, even if you ask Garyvee how he did it, he'll make up an answer. The answer he gives you isn't the truth. The real truth is he doesn't know how he did it. He just, all the details and context around doing it, like the intuition, he learned through street smarts. So I'd say you can read a little bit, but I'd say read 20% and get 20% book smart, but 80% street smart, because that kind of intuition and killer instinct is what's going to make you actually succeed. So I find through actually, jumping right into it and testing stuff physically is what I learned most of it. But if you do want some resources to get that 20% book smart, Garyvee, Adam Ivy, you've heard of him. He's been in the game for a while and he has some sick advice, sick guy. And a lot of, I would say my content is, humble brag, but probably in the best in the industry. I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm going to put out more free blogs and articles. So my blogs and articles are sick because I spend like an hour writing them. Check those out. They're fucking sick. I swore. They're sick.
Everyone listening, you can swear it. You can say whatever the fuck you want. But everyone listening, go check that out then. So in terms of like, I'm trying to think we've literally covered so much good shit, man. I guess sort of in terms of like YouTube again, how much emphasis do you put on music, like high quality music videos? Because if you're really struggling for money, like it's hard to think do you put your money into ads, like paying people to repost your shit, or high quality music videos? Like how important is that? Or do you think it's fine just to use like a visualizer?
Yeah, just use a visualizer, and only the ones that are proven to win. Remember, control and challenge. Basically, out of all your releases, the ones that are winning, then you can invest more time, money, energy, and effort into making a whole video. Aside from that, visualizers are cool because with the visualizer, it's generally built for social media. So you can have your content on the first slide on the Instagram carousel post, then the visualizer on the second one. Better yet, on Spotify, there's like a QR code, but Spotify has like its own version with like, the audio wave. Spotify has that little thing. I would say rather than using a visualizer for like, if it's like for a song, just make some content like a meme or some cool dope stuff. Second slide, just add like the Spotify QR code on the second slide. The visualizer is going to be more for if you're like out of all your testing or whatever, something seems pretty sick and you want to promote it, use the visualizer. So save the music video for last, because trust me, most people don't watch a music video more than 2-3 times. That's just the majority. So if you can invest all this time, unless it's going to be like a literal like movie with that kind of level of production and it's going to be amazing, then save your effort and time towards putting out more stuff and trying to just establish your brand.
Yeah. Are you a big fan of paying people to like repost your stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I pay people to repost my stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Especially when I was smaller. When I was smaller, that repost means a lot because the person who reposts it, they have the trust from their audience. And I would say if you're going to do it, don't just tell them to repost. Create the graphic or the whatever for them to repost for you. That way you can ensure that when the person comes to your page or whatever, they walk in with the right expectations, you know? So paying for reposts, I'd say do it, but make sure that the person who's reposting it is targeted to your ideal fan base.
Mm-hmm. And what's the sort of like good price for people listening? They've never done it. Like, what sort of price would you be thinking for however many followers?
Okay, $1, $1.50 for every 1,000. Meaning, if a person has like 5,000 followers, so 5 times 1.5, it's like, well, that's only $7.50. That's not much. However, look on the other guy's perspective. He's getting paid $7.50, and all he needs to do is just like put something on his story for like X amount of hours. Usually they're going to try to upcharge you, but that's where the whole like relationship comes from. If somebody's talking to you, you want to negotiate, first understand their perspective. They want to make some money, but also be like, yo, man, I'm just a starving artist. You don't have to put it for that long. I'm just doing this as a way to kind of, give back, show them your mission. Because either they're going to be incentivized to do it for financial gains, which is the most expensive way to negotiate, or there are two other incentives, social and moral. If the person cares about your mission, that's like a moral incentive, then they'll be morally incentivized to like strike a deal with you, right? Mm-hmm. Like, for example, I forget who it was, but let's say, David Suzuki, he's like environmentalist guy, right?
Yeah.
If you made a song about saving the turtles, he's more than likely incentivized to do it without charge. If you're doing some song, let's get more carbon out into the universe, no matter what, he's not incentivized to help you. So think about the incentives. And the third incentive is also a social one. If it makes them look freaking cool, if you make somebody look good, then they're more than happy to share it because it makes them look good. So this is a more tricky one, but I would say stuff like, if it's like a meme, usually memes, it's shared really fast. And if you like go to like a meme page, you're like, yo, I have a song I like to promote, I don't mind paying, but it makes you look super sick because I know how hard it is to make content as a, content maker. We all know that struggle. Be like, I made the meme for you, so you don't have to. Kind of like show them like, hey man, if I do this, it's going to make me look sick. That type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's smart. What about ads? Like, should you be spending more on Facebook ads or go 100% paying people to repost stuff? Like, what's your opinion on rappers using Facebook ads?
Well, the thing about ads is, don't forget, when you're doing ads, you're not just competing against artists. You're competing at every other human being in the music industry. So let's just put things in perspective. I put hundreds of dollars into ads a day. So if you're going to put your song, you're also competing with me, right? To get like the real estate of the freaking ad space, ads real estate. So if you look at paid promos, which is like, reposts and stuff, those ones, even there's like, it's more targeted. And ads, it can go anywhere unless you understand how to run ads. And you're like, remember the Avengers, is like the guy, the Hawkeye, whatever, the guy with the bow and arrow. If you have like your pinpoint targeting like that, ads are sick, but it takes a long time to learn it, and it's expensive to learn it, and it's an extra hassle to learn it. So if you're ready for that, then I commend you. However, if you don't have an established brand, you shouldn't try to do anything crazy there. And just try to, spend a couple dollars every week. Maybe if you put like, $15 a week just to like test stuff around, it's cool. But spend most of your time and energy into getting a good relationship and a good product, in that order. A better relationship. If you have to spend a little bit more to like get a good relationship with someone, it's worth it in the long run. And if you have to spend a little bit more to get a better song or product quality, it's worth it. And then you can think of stuff like, ad spend later, after.
Yeah. And sort of coming up to the end, what's your top 3 mistakes that you see artists making right now?
Okay, number one mistake artists make is it's like they want to like stop their whole life to do this. It's like, dude, you still need a life. You know what I mean? It's like you can want to make this your life, but it's not your life yet. So this is where like stuff like outside of music is generally the stuff that ruins a music career. Like your parents don't want you to do music. Your girlfriend is like, man, we should be together. You're always in the room instead in the bed with me, next to your girl. You're out in your freaking studio just making music. What's going on? Or it's like, it's stuff like that. You need to get your personal life in order So like take care of that first and then ease into the music. Don't just make the freaking switch like, New Year's resolution, time to become a famous rapper. It doesn't work like that. At least it's not sustainable. Mm-hmm. That's like the first issue. And then another issue I'd say is they don't realize it's a business and an industry. So you need to have a business mindset. If you walk into this with like just an artist mindset, you are going to be so disappointed. So learn that business. We have YouTube and Google's your friend. So learn from there. Those are two issues. And then the third one is not taking care of your health. So stuff like, getting out for a walk, even like meditating. Mental health is important. Just make sure that you're doing this in a way that you aren't like, I know there's like the hustle culture thing that's like, oh, I never sleep 2 hours, I'll sleep when I'm dead, It's like, no, you'll die before you get the chance to even see any semblance of success. So if you take care of your health as well, then you're going to have more energy and you think more clearly. So you'll be able to make strategies and work in ways that can be more productive in the short, mid, and long term.
Yeah. One other thing I'm really interested to hear, where do you think the opportunities are for artists in 2021? Where should people be looking into the future for like growing their brand?
Where should people be looking towards growing their brand? I would say definitely getting in contact with influencers. Because before it was kind of like, do you remember the Arthur meme, like with the fist? He was like pissed.
Yeah.
It was like, back then there could be viral, like stuff could go before like hardcore algorithms, things go really viral. Like that, like Arthur meme went everywhere. Even people from church, like remember, because I follow like my church's like Instagram page. They're like, when you show up late for mass and it's like Arthur. At that point I realized, oh, this is crazy. This is big. But then after that, there hasn't been like another really big meme, another Harambe. Yeah. There's so much content coming out. Algorithms are getting smarter. So the cool thing about influencers is that they already have control over their community. So if you can go on and there, then algorithmically, you're going to be setting yourself up for nice. It's like a spider web. You see like there's the Black Widow spider in the middle and the web comes away from her. You want to get closer to the web, meaning you want to be closer to the hub of where all the attention and, love is, which is the influencers.
Mm-hmm. And very lastly, where should everyone find Boost Collective? Where should everyone find you? Where do you want to send people listening?
boostcollective.ca, not .com, .ca. It's Canadian domain. That's our website. Check it out. We have some sick stuff there. Our Instagram, a lot of free dope content. It's imagine, your Instagram, LGC Production is very similar to that. So if you like him, you probably will like our Instagram as well. And thirdly, our YouTube, Boost Collective. Check it out. We have way more YouTube videos coming out and it's going to be amazing, sick, and just overall a vibe.
Perfect.